Laura McGortey here. Yamin Ulrich and I are Women in Payments Global Community Council members, and we are following up on one of the topics of interest from our most recent membership survey. We heard your need for more information on virtual networking loud and clear, and we have gathered some very interesting people to join us for some conversation sessions. This is the second of those sessions. And today we're joined by Mina Chung, who is currently the Vietnam lead for the New Savvy. It's an organization on a mission to empower 100 million women to achieve financial happiness. Mina was formerly with BNY Mellon. And we're also joined by Sam Fitzpatrick, Director of Sales for Global Payments, Australia and New Zealand at Western Union Business Solutions. I'm going to turn it over to Yamin to direct our conversation today.
Mina, tell us a bit, just briefly, about your past involvement within the payments industry, and then focusing on your current role with the New Savvy.
Sure. Thank you for that. And, I think Laura can actually intro me better because, so I worked for Bank of New York Mellon for more than 10 years, based in Hong Kong first, and then relocated to Singapore. So I was with Treasury Services function, and I had the privilege of working with Laura for a couple of years before I decided to leave. So when I left, I moved to Vietnam, and that's where, I'm currently leading the Vietnam chapter role as an ambassador for the New Savvy. So, as Laura already mentioned a little earlier, so our aim is really to provide the women community with the financial know-how and to empower women to realize and seize their full potential through information or educations or research. So here I am in Vietnam for the past 1 year, trying to, run around and hosting events and try to get more women community, to come join our force. So that's what I've been doing for the last 1 year. Back to you, Yamin.
Sam, you are known for growing mutually beneficial client relationships. How do you feel your personal brand affects your network, and how do you feel your network affects your personal brand?
Sure, thanks, Yamin. I think that the old adage, it's not what you know, it's who you know, kind of springs to mind, and I actually think it goes deeper than that. And I disagree with that statement to some extent. I think that there's three pieces to this, and what you know is really important, who you know is important, and what you do with that is really key here. In our current world, in the payments landscape, the information that what you know is really, really key. And how you choose to represent that as part of building your virtual brand is really important, because that's what leads to what you become known for from your network, to answer your question. And I think as you really think about that, you've got to reflect on your social media presence, your profile. It might be via LinkedIn, for example. What does that say about you? And how do you want to be known? Really, really important questions to ask yourself through that. And it's not just about who you know, but who knows you. So what does your network know you for? Are you seen as a thought leader in your industry? And that being a conscious decision, really, really key when you think about that personal brand element. And thirdly, having a diverse network is one thing, but what you then choose to actually do with that is critically important. If you sit back and just don't pay any attention to your network and don't consciously look at how you can build that network effectively, very difficult to stay top of mind. And that mind share piece, I think, is really, really important. Links back to what you're known for. When someone in your network is thinking about what they might require, are you the first person that springs to their mind with regard to that particular subject? The conscious decision as to who sits within your network in that sort of digital and virtual space, I think, is really important. This idea of network strength is key. you've got to follow up and stay connected and look for ways to add value. Your network doesn't just sustain itself, right? Something else that I think is important here. And I recall speaking to a really impressive individual a few years ago that operates in the Australia and New Zealand market. It was the founder of something called the CEO Circle, John Karagunis, and one message that he left me with on the subject of network and networking is it's often not the new network that's important, but it's your existing network where the most value may lie, and you've actually got to really continue to make the effort to connect with those people that already sit there, right?
I love the idea of unlocking potential in your existing network. There was so much value in your question just now, Sam. Thank you. I'll circle it back over to Mina. Mina, networking is absolute key in your current role. Can you share with us what are similarities, but also differences between true face-to-face networking and meeting people versus what we are trying to manage ourselves through these days, which is virtual networking?
With the COVID-19 situation in Vietnam, it's pretty much the same everywhere, where all of us were being confined, the context of our home. What different is I was in that 3-week lock-in time. Vietnam is pretty much back to business at this moment of time. So everything changed, for all of the events that we planned for the new Savvy took a different direction. And therefore, we have to adapt and be a little more creative in the process to make it work. So during these 3 weeks, we continue to have our events basically virtually, from very small, like 5 to like 100 people. We continue to make it happen. One of the experience was pretty personally very nice for me is the virtual tea time bonding with some of the people in the network, because right now my network, it's not only within Vietnam but also from outside. Even Vietnam is back to business, but people from outside, we still close the borders. People cannot fly in, and we still have to continue to network and keep the conversation warm, so that we can further collaborate, for future events. So the tea time is basically just a few of us. We came prepared, with our favorite tea and treat. And then, we actually prepared a small gift that we can change and uplift other people in the team in a very small way, right? Some of us actually sing a short chorus, and I actually teach some of them to dance bachata. And then, throughout the conversation, we continue to sip our tea, and then we came into, the main focus of the session is to share our perspective and how we can collaborate further in the upcoming events. So that was very nice, I would say. And it gave me the perspective that, we can actually connect to people cross borders, right? I mean, before it was just, hey, come out, chit chat for coffee, face to face, but that's just that. But now it's like, I can actually reach out for more people in my network. But of course, I must say that the digital world now it's pretty much flat, right? We have to create more interactions and, create dimensions. And therefore we have to put in more work, right? It could be, a session before or after the events, the main events, to connect with people and engage. And therefore, when we all come together, it's just going to be more smooth. And then, we collaborating in a different scale now. So with that, I probably continue with this, tea time sharing experience with going forward. I'm not gonna because it's really give me the perspective that with a little creativity, we can actually bring our virtual networking to the next level.
Mina, I'll
Back to you, Yasmin.
time ID. I will try that one next week with my network. Thank you for sharing it.
Great.
Sam, we really wanted to emphasize that you have a very open approach to networking opportunities. Would you share more about your approach with the community and your experiences with it?
Yeah, sure, Yasmin, no problem. I think that there's two things that really resonate with me on that front. The first of those is your mindset, and the curious mindset piece is really important. Going in with that just natural curiosity to understand and learn more, as opposed to an agenda for that connection. And secondly, really thinking about how you can do that, but with giving at the forefront of your mindset, and being creative around that, picking up on the point that Mina just said. There's so many opportunities to connect, and in this current COVID scenario now, we're all in the same boat. We're all sat here at home, and there's this whole new life that's come into the virtual side of things, and just being a little bit curious about what's out there, seeing some of the new and interesting things that maybe just pique a little bit of interest, and say yes to some things that you might not normally do, because you just never know where they're going to go. And I mean, classic example is my involvement in the Women in Payments Network. It was something that piqued my interest sort of this time last year. The first time I'd really seen the network come onto to my agenda, I picked up something on it in social media, and just started to dig a little bit deeper. I was like, okay, here's a network, sounds really interesting for someone in the payments industry. Realized that a couple of people in my local network were also involved, and just reached out to them and asked a few questions, understood a little bit more about what was going on, and that led to our involvement in the symposium in Sydney late last year. And it's been a great network to tap into, and without having just kind of been a little bit interested and curious to follow through on that thought, it wouldn't really have happened. And the second piece to this, as I said, really thinking about how you can approach a connection and approach networking with a giving mindset. It's about how can I help and how can I get involved, as opposed to what does this mean for me, and not keeping score. Right? It's really easy at times, I think, to mentally go, well, I've helped this person out, they owe me one, and it's just not about that. There's a phrase that's kind of stuck with me when you think about networking, this idea of giving without remembering and receiving without forgetting. It is something that has really stuck with me on the subject of networking, and being a little bit creative, to Mina's point. An example of that sort of this afternoon, we're running an event virtually, of course, for our customers, where we've managed to get one of Australia's preeminent comedians to come in and do a skit, none of which is really about us singing from our own hymn sheet. It's about how can we really give back on a human level to some of our customers and partners at a time where people are sat at home, and give them a bit of a laugh, just doing things differently.
What a great story, Sam. Thank you for sharing. To wrap it up, would each one of you give the community one action item, just one thing they can start doing today in order to just build onto their current virtual networking strategy?
Sure.
Well, I mean, I start first. Sorry, Sam, because I'm like so excited to share that one thing. Share your talent. I mean, through all this, you know, with the physical event, imagine, you know, people are very shy face to face, right? But now, you know, you're behind the screen, and I can actually feel that, you know, people try to share more talents, and that's where you connect and really enjoy each other's company. You know, with that bonding through this, you know, virtual world, it's gonna help with the relationship, and then you can take that from, you know, to the next level.
And from my side, reconnect with your current network. Go into your LinkedIn, have a look through all of your contacts, and just pick 2 or 3 people that you haven't found the time or the reason to reconnect with for too long. and just drop them a note, arrange an opportunity to catch up again, and just take that curious mindset into that discussion. What's happening in their world? What are they doing? How's life in the current environment? And you just never know where that's going to lead.
Great stuff. Actually, I'll start doing both next week. I'll add it to my personal list.
This was very powerful. Such exciting information. I love the share your talents. I love the be curious. It's what I heard you say, Sam, is it's not transactional. You know, it's really how can I help others, and what can I share, and what can I learn? So great stuff. Thank you so much, Sam and Mina, for joining us today, I should say, and sharing your thoughts and support for the Women in Payments membership. And for the members, please follow us on LinkedIn. Please reach out and let us know what you think. Look for the third in the series of these virtual networking conversations, and take advantage of the no charge membership. We're really glad to have you, and stay tuned for more. Have a great day.